You'd be surprised how close we all are to something ancient. Sometimes it's beneath a quiet stretch of road you've walked 1,000 times. Other times it's sealed behind bricks, waiting for someone to notice. The truth is that the past has a habit of revealing itself when we least expect it. So, join us for today's video as we're going to look at 15 of the most amazing archaeological discoveries that have surfaced in recent years, and trust us, they're well worth the watch. Let's start off with number 15, Tomb of Lu He. In the Jiangxi province of eastern China lies a tomb that practically redefines the term burial fit for royalty. When archaeologists entered the tomb of Lu He, a Han Dynasty prince and grandson of Emperor Wu, they didn't just find treasure, they found excess. More than 2 million copper coins were scattered inside, weighing over 10 tons and carrying an estimated value of $175,000. And that was just the beginning. Alongside the coins were over 10,000 items made from gold, bronze, and iron, an inventory so grand it paints a vivid picture of Lu He's status. His tomb stretches across nearly 500,000 square feet and was only opened in the past 5 years. It may still be holding on to more secrets. These sprawling ancient Chinese tombs are often built like underground cities, with layers upon layers of offerings, artifacts, and chambers. And with a tomb this size, it's likely we're only scratching the surface of what lies inside. Number 14. Mahendra Parvata. Once considered a legend more than a real place, Mahendra Parvata had lived only in the faded records of the Khmer Empire. But deep within Cambodia's dense jungle, the city has now been found, weathered, hidden, but real. Like really real. Its name means Mountain of Indra, a nod to the god of gods, and the ruins found so far hint at its sacred past. Most of the city is tangled in overgrowth, yet remnants of ancient temples and broken statues still stand. Archaeologists confirmed the site through aerial scans, but reaching it on foot remains treacherous. Landmines from the Khmer Rouge era still litter the ground. Located 30 miles north of Siem Reap, the site sits on the Phnom Kulen Plateau. Even in its current state, it's clear Mahendra Parvata was no minor outpost. It was vast, planned, and once central to Khmer civilization. The city will take years to fully uncover, but every step forward reclaims another lost chapter of Southeast Asian history, one that's been buried for centuries beneath silence and soil. So what happened to it? Number 13. The Pearl of Abu Dhabi. Well, it's not the size that gives this pearl its worth. It's the age, and this is very old. Found on Marwa Island in Abu Dhabi, this small polished gem has been dated back more than 8,000 years, making it the oldest natural pearl ever discovered. The area around the find is already known for its wealth and trade connections, but this pushes the timeline back further than expected. The pearl was uncovered during a standard excavation, resting in a modest layer of sediment, but its implications are massive. Its condition suggests it was already valued and likely traded, not just randomly lost. Historians believe it may have been part of early exchange networks, possibly traded with ancient Mesopotamia for pottery or stone goods. The pearl's discovery has been formally named the Pearl of Abu Dhabi and will be exhibited under the banner of 10,000 years of luxury. It's a quiet artifact, small and unassuming, but it represents a luxury culture that existed long before the modern idea of wealthy billionaires ever took form. Number 12. Woolly mammoth traps. Well, we tend to group woolly mammoths with creatures like dinosaurs, massive, ancient, and long wiped out from the face of the earth. But that's only half the story. Unlike dinosaurs, mammoths once walked side by side with early humans, and now we've got proof that humans didn't just stumble upon them, they hunted them strategically. 14 mammoth skeletons were uncovered in a pit just outside Mexico City. But this wasn't some natural grave. The layout and depth of the pit, nearly 6 feet down, suggests that it was a deliberate trap carved out by early humans. This flips the old assumption that mammoths were only killed if found injured or already stuck. These weren't accidents, these were planned hunts. It's a reminder that our ancestors weren't just survivalists, they were clever, coordinated, and more capable than we often credit them for. These pits might be the first known mammoth traps ever built, and they say a lot more about human intelligence 15,000 years ago than we previously imagined. Number 11. Bronze Age Monument. In the Forest of Dean, something ancient has been silently hiding for over 4,000 years. Thanks to modern laser scanning tech, archaeologists have now found the faint outlines of a Bronze Age monument, something that was completely invisible beneath the thick forest canopy. The scans revealed what's known as a ring cairn, a circular earth bank once lined with standing limestone slabs. Nothing like it has ever been found in the surrounding Gloucestershire region, making this monument uniquely significant. The discovery was made by archaeologist John Hoy, who used aerial laser beams to strip away the trees and model the hidden landscape in 3D. From the ground, it was just another patch of woods. From above, it became a ghost of the past suddenly reappearing. While similar monuments exist elsewhere in the British Isles, their true purpose remains uncertain. Were they ceremonial, astronomical, territorial? We still don't know. But this one adds yet another layer to the mystery of what Britain's early inhabitants were really up to. Number 10. Attic discovery of Indian treasures. In the quiet stillness of their attic, a British couple uncovered something unexpected, a collection of artifacts tied directly to a colonial war from over 2 centuries ago. Tucked beneath a dusty blanket were items that once belonged to Tipu Sultan, the famed Indian ruler who stood against British forces in 1799. Among them were a gold-inlaid sword, a flintlock firearm, and another blade bearing the emblem of Tipu's father, objects with undeniable historical weight. One of the homeowners, a descendant of Major Thomas Hart, had a direct link to the soldier who fought in the siege of Seringapatam, the final battle that brought Tipu down. These weren't museum acquisitions. They were war trophies passed down in silence. Their value is immense, but their presence also raises uncomfortable questions, particularly about the ethics of ownership and the legacy of colonial conquest. Whether kept, sold, or returned, these items carry with them the echoes of empire, conflict, and one family's accidental role in history. Number 9. New Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines in Peru have been a mystery for years. Massive geoglyphs etched into the ground, only fully visible from above. Created over 2,000 years ago, their size, scale, and precision still baffle researchers. Why would a culture with no access to flight draw figures that could only be appreciated from the sky? Who were they meant for? We still don't know, but now, the mystery just got deeper. A Japanese team from Yamagata University recently discovered over 100 new figures in the region, some resembling birds and animals, others something else entirely. A few of the new geoglyphs depict monstrous or alien-like beings. These newly uncovered lines are estimated to be between 1,800 and 1,900 years old. They weren't found by chance either. Modern imaging and AI mapping helped researchers identify what the eye could never spot from the ground. As we keep uncovering more of them, the question grows louder. What exactly were the Nazca trying to say, and who did they think was listening? It's totally puzzling. Number 8. Pictish Cross Slab. Buried for over 1,000 years and forgotten by time, a rare Pictish cross slab has surfaced near the village of Dingwall in Scotland. These marker stones are among the rarest surviving artifacts from the Picts, a mysterious people who once ruled much of northern Scotland. Fewer than 50 such stones have ever been found, and even fewer in this state of preservation. This one is covered in carvings, warriors, beast-headed figures, weapons, and animals, likely meant to send a clear message to any would-be intruders: turn back. Positioned near an old settlement, it likely served as a territorial warning, blending spiritual symbolism with very real threats. Interestingly, researchers have only released images of one side. Whatever's on the reverse remains a closely guarded secret, at least for now. The team is still studying the slab, and speculation is swirling. For now, the unearthed side alone is enough to add another piece to the puzzle of Pictish culture, one marked by art, defiance, and mystery that refuses to fade. Number 7. The Gauri Wall. Stretching quietly across the western hills of Iran is a 71-mile-long wall few outside the region have ever heard of. Locals call it the Gauri Wall, but its origins, builders, and purpose are all still unknown. For centuries, it's been hiding in plain sight, overlooked by historians. Yet its size and construction rival some of history's most famous fortifications. Experts estimate that over 35 million square feet of stone were used to build it. That's a feat even by today's standards, let alone 1,600 years ago. Scattered remnants of pottery and collapsed structures have been found along its path, hinting at past activity, though much has been lost to time. No written record mentions it, but villagers living nearby have known of its presence for generations. It likely once stood 10 feet high and 13 feet thick, suggesting it was meant for defense. Why such a massive wall was built in such a remote place remains a mystery, but its scale proves it was not just a boundary line. Number 6. The inscribed Bourne Stone. In a quiet Massachusetts museum sits a 300-pound granite block known as the Bourne Stone, and its surface has puzzled historians for decades. It wasn't always an exhibit. It once served as a doorstep outside a Native American meeting house in the 1600s. From there, it passed through several hands before ending up in a trading post and eventually under a display case. But what makes this stone remarkable isn't its journey, it's the carved inscription along one side. In the 1970s, historian Barry Fell proposed that it was written in an ancient Iberian script, translating roughly to "Hanno takes possession by this stone." Others dismiss that claim entirely. Modern scholars argue it bears no resemblance to any European writing system. Some suggest it might be Native American in origin, possibly symbolic or ceremonial, but there's no agreed-upon interpretation. No translation has been confirmed. No cultural origin has been pinned down. For all its weight, the Bourne Stone offers no answers, just a script carved in stone, silent and unresolved. Number 5. Fragile shipwreck on the Garonne. Along the banks of the Garonne River in southwest France, a 40-foot wooden vessel was discovered in 2022, preserved for 1,300 years under layers of mud and water. The ship, constructed from oak, chestnut, and pine, hadn't seen daylight since the day it sank, and it shows. The wood, fragile beyond measure, must be sprayed with water every 30 minutes to prevent collapse. Radiocarbon dating places the sinking between 680 and 720 CE, a period when ships of this size and design were virtually unheard of in the region. Some believe this might have been an experimental vessel, possibly even a prototype. Its construction techniques seem ahead of their time, complicating what historians thought they knew about early French naval design. But there's a race against decay. Unless conservators stabilize the wreck soon, the details that set this ship apart could be lost forever. It's not just a relic, it's a question in timber and tar, one that might never be fully answered if time wins out. Alright, now, let's move to number 4. The petroglyphs of Toro Morto. Scattered across the desert of Peru's Castilla province are more than 3,000 volcanic boulders, all carved with figures, patterns, and abstract shapes. This place, known as Toro Morto, literally Dead Bull, is the largest petroglyph site in South America. Yet no one knows who carved the images or why. The name Dead Bull doesn't appear in any known myth or story. It's simply a title passed from generation to generation, its original meaning lost. What makes the site even more baffling is that only volcanic stones were chosen for carving. All other rock types nearby remain untouched. The carvings themselves show animals, humanoid figures, and geometric motifs. Some thought to date back 1,500 years to the Wari civilization. But without firm evidence, that connection remains speculative. The sheer scale of the site suggests cultural or ritual importance. And yet, despite the thousands of etched stones baking under the desert sun, the meaning behind them has vanished. No texts, no oral histories, just rock against silence. Number 3. The forgotten megaliths of Toulouse. Hidden near the Turkish village of Uskil lies an ancient city where mystery is more common than fact. The megaliths of Toulouse stretch across a forgotten cemetery that includes Roman sarcophagi and rock carvings in a language barely understood, Lycian. Some of these inscriptions date back 2,400 years, but they might have been etched into stones that were already ancient by then. There's no sign that the city had a formal economy, no coins, no currency, and yet its stone structures suggest a culture that valued permanence. Strange monuments resembling overturned boats mark part of the necropolis. One rock house features a carving of a naked man and a faded inscription naming either him or its final occupant. Despite the carvings, tombs, and ruins, no clear narrative survives. Toulouse doesn't fit neatly into any historical timeline. It stands outside the known, no confirmed builders, no surviving texts, and no guiding context. A city once alive is now reduced to granite whispers. Number 2. 700-year-old arrow from Norwegian ice. This is just mind-baffling. High in the mountains of Norway, patches of ancient ice are retreating. One of them, at Lenbryn, gave up a hidden artifact preserved better than most museum pieces, a 700-year-old arrow complete with feather fletching still intact. Found buried deep within a glacial layer, it likely fell when a hunter pursued prey into the icy plateau, a place where animals took refuge from summer insects. The craftsmanship is precise. The arrow's point is delicately shaped for penetration, while the notch is unusually wide, hinting at a thicker-than-usual bowstring. Traces of birch tar still cling to the shaft, used to secure the feathers. These small details reveal a lot about the tools and techniques of Norse hunters. As climate patterns shift, ancient hunting grounds like these are revealing their secrets. But the ice is melting fast, and so are the chances to retrieve fragile items like this one. Each artifact recovered now carries urgency, not just historical weight. This arrow wasn't just lost, it was waiting. Number 1. The cave paintings of Tassili Nestajer. Deep in Algeria's portion of the Sahara, there is a rocky stretch called Tassili en Ager. On its sandstone walls are cave paintings, so unusual that they've stirred up debates no academic forum can settle. Among the depictions of elephants, cattle, rivers, and dancing humans, there are tall figures with bulbous heads, round eyes, and strange outfits, figures that seem to wear helmets, gloves, and bodysuits. Some call them gods. Others claim they're astronauts. Whatever they are, they weren't drawn in haste. The paintings are ancient, likely between 10,000 to 15,000 years old. Everything else depicted in these murals is rooted in the artists' daily lives. Yet these humanoid shapes don't match anything naturally seen in the Sahara's history. Their presence disrupts the otherwise logical landscape of rock art. They don't fit in, and that's precisely why they continue to fascinate. Were they symbols, spirits, or stories passed down through generations? The answers may have vanished with the people who painted them, but the images remain bold, out of place, and impossible to ignore. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.